Dear friends, it's a very special privilege and pleasure and honor to be able to be the presenter to the next person to be honored on this occasion. I'm glad to be asked to make a few remarks. But let me warn you that anyone who believes an ex-president of a college who says something about brief remarks will believe in the tooth fairy and the promises of politicians. There's so much I could say about Del Harris, but I'll try to be as brief as I can. Del came here, I think I should say first a little bit about the job that we gave to him when he came. We were looking for a basketball coach and the kind of person who would fit into the Earlham community. And the situation was that the previous year, Earlham's basketball team had not been notably successful. It had lost 18 games and won 2. Now, not only was he walking into a situation where the prospects were very bleak, but the physical facilities that he's going to work with were, shall we say, inadequate. I have that on good authority. One of the friends I acquired after I left Earlham is one of the movers and shakers in the Washington establishment, an African-American lawyer named Vernon Jordan. Vernon Jordan is a kind of behind-the-scenes rainmaker for law firms and also a very close confidant of people in high powers. He was Bill Clinton's, and maybe still is, his closest advisor and friend. After I got acquainted with Vern, I did a special favor for him in one sense. I got him invited to go with me on a sort of high-level mission to Moscow about in the height of the Cold War. And it was his first exposure to international affairs. And we talked about all kinds. And then eventually he got around to telling me, you know, when I was a student at DePaul, I played against Earlham on the worst basketball floor I ever saw in my life. So that was part of the legacy that we gave to Del Harris. And I'd have to say, though, I hope it will not be taken as a partisan political remark, that in my long life I can think of only one person whose legacy, stepping into a difficult job, was more forbidding than Del's, and that was Barack Obama. Anyway, right away, Del proved that he was a man of courage and of confidence. And those two qualities are very essential if you're going to be successful in any field, and particularly it's clear it's important in the field of athletics. I knew some of Del's players very well, and I asked them what their experience was with him. I remember after Del had been on the job here only about 6 weeks or so, I spoke to Rick Berg, who was a senior basketball player, an outstanding student, one of our very distinguished alumni, lives out on the West Coast now. I said, Rick, tell me, what's this new coach like? Is he coming through or okay? He looked at me very seriously. He said, Landrum, I want to tell you, that man is a great teacher. That's the important thing about Del Harris. He said, I played 4 years of high school basketball, and I had a coach, good coach. I spent 3 years here at Earlham, and I was coach here. But I've learned more from Del Harris in the first 4 weeks of our practice than I ever learned about basketball in my life. This guy knows how to teach. Well, what does that mean? It means a lot of things, I'm sure. It means partly the ability to establish the right kind of relationships with people. I was talking to one of Del's former player students once, and we happened to be talking about this Coach Dungy, who was the coach of the Indianapolis Colts, and who's became famous for saying, as his opening remarks to the squad, I will never shout at you, I will never hurt you, I will never humiliate you, but I expect you to listen to what I have to say. And this established a relationship, I gather, among the Colt players is very important. Well, I was talking about this one of Dale's students about that. He said, Dale Harris followed that principle 40 years ago. He's the inventor of the thing that gets credit for. That's the way Dale operated. Dale never blew the whistle on us at practice. He never used a curse word ever in our favor, in our face. He respected us, and he inspired and motivated us. How did he do it? I said, well, he was a very creative person. He thought of things that we wouldn't thought of before. He looked after our welfare. You know, he invented a kind of drink that before Gatorade, that was a mixture of fruits, juices, and so on that we drank. It was an energizer. He dreamed this up, and he told us. Dale was a person who was inventive, creative, and inspiring. But he was also a man who had a great capacity to build friendships and to be appreciative of those friends. One of the things that I've been so impressed about Dale is that as he's gone on to fame and fortune and climbed to the top of the ladder in the whole coaching profession as the head of top professional basketball teams, he never lost his touch with friends from earlier age. I've been privileged to know a number of rich and famous people over the years, and some of them, you know, as they become rich and famous, they become very busy, and so busy that they don't have time for old friends. And you begin to think maybe they've just gotten snooty. Not necessarily that they've gotten snooty, but they're too busy. But Dale has never showed that kind of attitude at all. He has always maintained ties to his roots, his tie to this community, to the ties to Earlham College, to friendship with members of that team. I hope either one will mind my saying this, but Ava Stewart's mother had a 90th birthday not long ago. Dale comes all the way from Texas to go with Avis up to Marion, Indiana, to congratulate Avis's mother on her 90th birthday. That is friendship. That is human relationship carried out as it should be. So we honor Dale Harris, the professional coach, the member of the Earlham faculty, but also, more importantly, a permanent member of the Earlham family who is proud of this college as we are proud of him. We're so glad to honor Dale Harris.